What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the third installment of Hit It and Crit It, where we've been doing some Burning Wheel sessions. This is our third, as I just mentioned, and we've got an entirely new cast here, like we usually do. We've got our resident GM, CouncilCaller, above us. We've got Tilldays, we've got TimbTV, and we have BumbleKlee, which I know all of you are very familiar with here. So, how's it going, guys? And basically what we're going to do is we're going to play another session, which some of these characters may seem familiar to you guys. And what we've kind of done here is we've taken a several-part story and kind of made it our own. And each story doesn't necessarily build off of the last one, but we keep in the same environment and the same universe, I could say. But each iteration of these characters will be entirely different. So I'm sure that Tim will play an entirely different Gunther than what I did. I can already tell you that. So without further ado, guys, welcome to this third Hit It and Crit It, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I will let CouncilCaller take it away and kind of describe what's going on here.
Yeah, so this is the third adventure in a three-part series called Twilight and the Duchy of Verdorben. And we are going to be using these same characters, even though we're playing with different players. And so the idea here is that if you've seen the other two sessions, this is the follow-up to Trouble in Hochin, where the characters went to Hochin and fought a demon and a cult there. And then to Dinner for One, in which they had dinner with the lovely Lord Stravit and found out about his necromantic proclivities and then murdered him. And so in this session, what has happened is Lord Butel, the bailiff of Verdorben, has found Gunther with his sword dripping Lord Stravit's blood. And this is kind of a problem because murdering the nobility isn't exactly something that's within the law. So everyone has been taken back to the castle Lowenhall, which is the Duke's castle. And in the instance of Gunther and Brynn, they have been held awaiting trial. Gunther for the murder of Lord Stravit, and Brynn as a necromancer. Lord Stravit, being a favorite member of the court, is of course beyond repute, and so all the necromantic instruments and substances found in his manor have been attributed to Brynn, the sorceress. And now they await their fate. The judgment of Lord Butel. And in the case of Theoden and Danielle, as Daniel has become for this session, because Theoden is a member of the church, the abbot pulled some strings and let him skip out on the whole being accused of necromancy thing. Same thing for Danielle. And so they are not on trial. They're not under arrest, but they are under the care of the abbot, who has them hostage in a different way. So this session is going to be about them preparing for their trial, trying to get out from under these charges, trying to reveal the true necromancer, and definitely not die. So,
not dying is good.
Your day in court.
So I think that what we'll do is to kind of give you guys an idea of what each of the particular characters is about, is we each have a set of beliefs that I think that are important to each character. And if you're unfamiliar with Burning Wheel, beliefs are pretty much a huge majority of the game, really. I mean, that's what it's all centered around. So I think that we'll all start kind of reading our beliefs of what our characters are and kind of what they're about as far as in this session. So I'll go ahead and start as Theoden. So here are my beliefs as Theoden. The abbot has offered my companions his favor in court if they confess their crimes. I will convince them of the wisdom in taking this path. And I suspect that there lurks within the court a deeper evil that corrupted Lord Stravit's soul. I must find this shadow and bring it into the light.
Wonderful.
And then Gunther.
There's a line there, sir, that you're missing. I believe there was one more belief.
Third belief?
What's your third belief there?
Well, according to the character index, it says that I will in fact take the shot.
Nice. I like it.
Sir Gunther, what are your beliefs?
My beliefs are I will see justice brought to the true necromancer. As long as I am a knight, it is my duty to protect the Duke and his court from such evil. My father is dying, and I am his only son. I must live to carry on the family name.
Wunderbar. And the Lady Bryn, what do you have for us?
So whatever it takes, I must prove my innocence. Perhaps my uncle, Lord Gertrung, will be able to help with this. And a true hero never hides the truth of her actions. My honor demands that I deny these false allegations, no matter the cost.
Wonderful. And Danielle, what are your beliefs for this session?
Bryn and Gunther are heroes, not villains. I shall help them prove their innocence while I'm able. And the Hochin is in shambles, and this is in part my doing. I must convince a member of the Duke's court to help us rebuild.
Fantastic. All right. You guys ready to go? Anything else, Max?
I'm good to go, man. Take it away.
All right, so we begin in the castle Lowenhole. Its walls high, its spires higher. And, interesting sound. Lowenhole Castle is, of course, the Duke's castle. And the four of you are all being held there. It is expansive, many gardens and hidden passages, suites, and halls and such. Of course, the throne room. The Duke, however, is away. His wife, the Duchess, is in charge of Lowenhole at this point in time. He's away at the war in the east. And so Bryn and Gunther, you find yourselves held in captivity. Not in cells, you are members of the nobility, so you were shown some respect despite the severity of the crimes of which you have been accused. So you were held in a suite in a far wing of Lowenhole. And Theoden and Danielle, you have been guests of the abbot. And recently the abbot has given you the kind and thoughtful advice, the suggestion that you should go to your former companions and convince them to confess their crimes before the trial, so that mercy might be shown to them given their attrition. And so we begin with Theoden and with Danielle visiting Gunther and Bryn in their suite in the castle Lowenhole. You have been escorted here by Butel and by Butel's assistant. His name is Aiko. He is a young knight, much like you, Gunther. You two probably grew up together. And so the doors open, and Bryn and Gunther, you will say you're seated, on divans in this fine room. And Butel, Aiko, Theoden, and Danielle enter.
Not bad digs for a jail, huh?
Have you been treated fairly? It seems that you have been, but is there any complaints that you may have in this particular proceeding so far, Gunther or Bryn?
No, everything seems to be fine. How about you, Bryn?
Yeah.
As you both know, there have been serious crimes brought against you both, and myself and Danielle are very lucky that the abbot has taken us under his care, so we will not be facing trial. However, I speak for myself, and in that regards, that I will do everything I can, and I would like to invoke the entire power of the Church of Tudum to try and do what I can to save your lives, because I fear that this may not end well.
And Butel speaks now. He's an older man, his face grizzled from all the wars he has fought. He was elevated to lord because he saved the life of a member of the nobility. So he has a practical view on things, and he says to you, I trust that justice will be seen tomorrow at your trial. As per procedure and protocol, the accused, you, Lady Bryn, and you, Sir Gunther, will have 1 day with which to prepare your defense. I have brought Jan Aiko here to escort you throughout the castle grounds. You may go wherever you wish and speak to whomever you wish. And you do have the right to investigate and assess the evidence that we have against you. The body is being held by your uncle, Bryn, Lord Gertrude. And I wish you the best of luck. I must recuse myself now so as to appear impartial. Remain impartial, not just appear.
So we have 1 day to prove our innocence, huh?
1 day to prepare your defense. Butyl exits the room with a bow and leaves you with your former companions, Theoden, Danielle, and with Aiko standing close as well.
1 day.
So at this point, you guys could discuss things. Theoden and Danielle, I know you have some things to discuss with your friends. But you could also go and visit Gertrude or any other member of the court whom interests you. And so one neat thing about Burning Wheel is that if you'd like to just make somebody up, you have the opportunity to try and do so. So that's what Circles is for. So if, for instance, Winter, you wanted to circle up one of your former companions from when you were, a page or a squire, and perhaps try and convince them to testify to your character at the trial, we can make a roll for that.
I don't know. Would that be a beneficial thing to be doing? I mean,
Up to you, man. However you want to prepare for this trial is up to you.
I don't think I need to make anybody up. At least not yet, anyway. So, but the 4 of us are together now, right?
You're all together
Okay.
in your prison.
Both Gunther and Bryn you both being part of the court, you understand the severity of these crimes. They've already said that all of the necromantic items and baubles we found inside of Lord Straven's manor were belonging to Bryn, and I do not know how we could refute these claims, but you all know that being convicted of necromancy, Bryn, and of murder of a lord, Gunther, you will be punished to death if you are convicted. And I would like to say that the abbot has offered his help, and with the entire church behind him, I think that we are looking more to try and save your life at this point than to necessarily prove your innocence, because it appears that the evidence is insurmountable. Now, if you are only to confess your sins to the abbot, he will be able to at least save your lives.
I would not be able to admit to something that I didn't do.
I agree.
Well, my friends, I will do what I can to try and save you. I will let Tudum guide my way.
So, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
During the previous thing where where we were killing Lord Stravit, whichever. So Danielle and Theoden weren't part of that?
They were present for it. But the abbot pulled some strings and basically said there's no way they could have participated in this. This is very much a feudal court system, so it's more about your reputation and who you know than it is about what you actually did.
Well, I was a little confused because Theoden's over here preaching to me when he's there. And he was there. And now it's literally just the 4 of us, and he's still trying to preach to me like we're heretics.
Aiko is present, the knight that assists Lord Butyl.
Oh, okay. So they are still trying to play off. Okay, I gotcha. I'm sorry. I'm trying to wrap the scene. So 24 hours to prove one's innocence. How should we start doing this?
Yeah, you guys can talk out of character.
What's that?
You guys can talk out of character and make plans.
Well, I mean, that was kind of an in-character question.
Well,
I'm not good with voices, so.
I think that it's important that if you were attempting to fight this case, that we have to find exactly how much evidence they have against you, and in order to do that, I'm not sure of who we should speak to about this. I suppose the first thing that we could look at is the body of Lord Stravitt.
The body would hold some evidence of foul play, I assume.
Yes, but it will also show that you did indeed stab him, whether it was justified or not.
What if we could somehow prove that the objects that they're saying are mine are not? And they do, in fact, belong to him?
Well, I think that would be proven as the if there is evidence of the black goo. I forget what it was exactly called now, but the black sludge would be evidence of his dark something. I don't know. I got nothing.
The black oil is a sure sign that someone is a necromancer. Straven in particular wore a thick perfume at all times because it had soaked into his skin, and he carried around the smell of death.
So let's roll down to look at the body.
Yeah.
Yes, I
agree.
agree.
Excellent. So, you guys, of course, rise and leave, head towards the chambers of Lord Gertrung, Felix Gertrung. So Lord Gertrung is Bryn's uncle. He is a court doctor. In particular, he serves the function of the coroner for the court. So the body is in his domain. He has that in particular. And his lab and his quarters are in the lower levels of the castle. There's a large basement area under the main grounds. And so, is that where you're going? Heading over to see him there?
I think that'd be the best place to start, at least.
Excellent. So you make your way over there with Aiko in tow, and you descend down into the basement, and Lord Gertrung's quarters. You approach them, and there are large oaken double doors. You knock upon them, and one of his servants answers and invites you in. Of course, he greets you, Lady Bryn, as the niece of his master. And when you step inside, you see the classic alchemist lab, right? He has vials and potions and bottles strewn about, mixed with his papers amongst desks, strange devices and apparatuses, litter his lab. And, it's lit by candlelight. And you see him in a far corner, hunched over the body of Lord Stravitt, which is laid flat upon a wooden table. And he turns now and looks at you, smiling. Welcome.
Greetings, Lord Gertrung.
I guess I'd say hi, Uncle.
Yes. It is lovely to see you, my niece. Although, given the circumstances, I wish that things were different.
Yes. So we came to take a look at the body to see if we could find any evidence of our innocence.
I see Lord Butyl has spoken with you. Your trial is to be tomorrow, then.
Yes.
Yes, very well. And he turns and leads you over to the body. And so he points to the wound in Stravitz's chest where you stabbed him, Gunther. And he looks up at you and he asks the obvious. He says, "Tell me, Lord Gunther, or Sir Gunther, tell me, Sir Gunther, is this not a wound from your sword?"
Now I've still got that the other guy with us too, still, right? What's his name? Mako or
Ako, A-K-O.
Mako? Okay, he's still with us as well.
Yeah, he's standing nearby.
Okay. Well, it does in fact seem to be a wound of a blade. What do you think, Lord Gertrude? What are your thoughts?
He says, he looks a little despondent. He says, "I think that my opinion is of very little value here. The story I heard tells that Lord Butyl caught you in the act."
I'm not interested in what you heard or stories. I'm asking what you actually think.
"I think you stabbed him, young man."
All right. And what do you think of the body?
And he bends down close now, and he lifts one of Stravitz's eyelids up so that you can see his eyeball very clearly. And he pokes it with his finger, turning it. And he says, "As you can see here," and points towards the back of the eyeball, "there is a blackness, unnatural to a normal person." And he invites you to bend down close. And he says, "You look very closely, you'll see it. And you will know that this man has touched the black oil."
Okay. Go ahead, Bryn.
I was just gonna say, how can we, like, if it's that apparent to someone who knows who's looking for it, how can we prove that he was involved with that before we even got there?
Hmm. So, yeah, Gertrude smiles and he takes off his gloves, his leather gloves that he's wearing. And he says to you, "Well, my niece, the most effective way to inform the court of Stravitz's proclivities is to have me testify to this fact."
Okay.
It sounds like there is going to be a cost there.
Yes.
And he looks towards Sir Ako and he says, "Might I speak with my niece and her friends in a little more privacy, Sir Ako?" And Ako bristles at this and begins to say something, but Gertrude raises his hand and says, "I will have none of that. Leave us." And Ako reluctantly steps into one of the side rooms. Gertrude's servant comes and leads the night off. So the four of you find yourselves, at least temporarily, alone with Gertrude. And he invites you to sit. He has he has couches and a table with, biscuits and tea and such. And he invites you to sit with him so that you might discuss things. And once everyone is sitting, he folds his hands and says, "Things here at court are much more complicated than they were when you left. I say this with fear and apprehension. I know you are not a necromancer, my niece, for there is a true necromancer here within the walls of this court." And he looks at you now, Theoden, and he says, "The true necromancer is your abbot, my good priest."
This is quite disturbing news, for I just spoke with the abbot who took me and Daniel under his care. How could you be so sure the abbot is the necromancer?
I have been conducting my own investigation in secret. The cult that you found in Hochin is not the only is not the only group that has given way to blasphemy in recent months. The black oil finds its way into many cracks and crevices.
Could you share any of your findings with us? Because it is quite unbelievable to me.
Unfortunately, I lack evidence, physical evidence, of the abbot's fall from grace. But all signs, all the whispers I have heard point back to him. And that is why I need you. In his chamber, he has a mirror, much like one that I heard you found in the manor of Lord Stravit. You must bring it to me.
So we have 24 hours to prove, pardon me, Lord Gutrung. If we have 24 hours to prove our innocence, and now you wish us to go on some hunt for a mirror, one that we've already smashed before?
These are much closer related tasks than you might realize. A word from me can save your lives in court.
And what prevents you from doing so regardless?
I'm a man who sees the bigger picture, Sir Gunther. Your lives are meaningless. I cannot save this court from corruption.
But a picture without me in it's kind of a sad picture, isn't it?
Yeah, and he just begins to weep openly. He can't stand the thought of a picture without your face.
Well, Lord Gertrude, I understand what you are speaking of, and why do you desire this mirror? Why not desire that we smash it to be rid of this evil?
I must have something to present to the Duchess, or else my claims will be unheard at best, and her suspicion shall turn upon me at worst.
All right.
I was going to say, Bryn, what do you think?
I was going to ask if you guys want to step aside and talk about it. Maybe not in the room.
Yeah,
Okay.
So if we leave, that the night will come back.
Yeah, are we going to be parroted around by this guy like the entire time, or?
I mean,
like, is that literally his task? Is to be like, okay, you guys can do what you want, but I'm going to keep an eye on you, type of thing?
Yep.
Okay. Well, might be another stabbing.
So there is a masked ball tonight. It is the second night of the Festival of the Midnight Sun. This has a lot to do with Tudam. It's an annual festival. So that might be the perfect time for you to slip into someone's chambers unseen and heist their mirror. But if you would like Gertrude to step away for a moment and give you guys some space to discuss things, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Sure. Gertrude stands and excuses himself. He says that he will give you a moment to discuss things. He knows that it is quite the request on his part, but he apologizes and insists that he has no other options. And with a bow, he steps into the room that Aiko was shuffled into earlier.
I think that you can see Theoden in his old age just feeling the weight of the situation and kind of it looks like someone's developing a major headache and they really don't know what to do with it, and he looks at Bryn and he says to Bryn, he says, "You should know above all else that if we hand this mirror over to your uncle, what sort of powers he would possess. There is a reason that we destroyed this mirror in Lord Stravit's manor. Handing it over to him, and I cannot speak on whether he is trustworthy or not, but it holds untold evil inside of it."
So yeah, I agree with that. No no ill will towards your uncle, but how can we trust him either? As his profession alone leads one to think possible necromancy.
So I understand your guys' concerns, but there is the possibility that after we return to him and after he would testify for us, if it becomes a problem, we could deal with it then. Because for now, it seems like our main concern is proving our innocence.
But I would go further and say your main concern is staying alive.
That, yes.
That's my second concern.
So if we get caught stealing this mirror, we're definitely dead.
Yes, you are
But if we
proverbially
don't take
fucked,
it?
as Stephen would say.
But if we don't attempt to get it, right now we don't have any other options.
Well, it is definitely our only course of option at the moment.
I mean, there are several people that we could talk to try and testify on your behalf. We've only just learned of one option. Even based on what her uncle has said, I do believe that it would be at least worth hearing out the abbot himself. I cannot believe that he is a necromancer. I have seen no evidence, and he is the one who brought me into the church at my old age and really just, brought me in after my hard life, and I cannot see that a man like that could ever turn to necromancy, but we must take all things in consideration here, but that is yet another option that we may have.
But Theoden, if it's true, then we've tipped off the person we were trying to uncover.
Oh, no. We would not mention any of this meeting to him. I'm not foolish, sir. I just merely should say that we should hear out his offer that he may have for you.
We can't just walk up and say, "Hey, are you a necromancer?"
That's not what we are saying. What I'm saying is he has offered his help in the trial, aside from this necromancy business, and I think that it would not be prudent to leave options unexplored.
Did his offer not require that we admit to things we haven't done?
Oh, Lady Bryn, if what was communicated to me was the confessions of your sins, not confessions of any crimes in the court.
Okay.
I say we at least hear him out. If you are uncomfortable after speaking with him, then we can explore the other options that we may have, but in this dire situation, I believe that we should at least explore all options on the table.
And we should definitely tread lightly.
Absolutely. I've known the man for a long time, and it will be no different than any other time that I have gone to visit.
So is there any disagreement here? Is everyone on board with what Theoden is saying? Or would you like to propose a different course of action? Because we could take this to dice if there are two camps as to the what to do question.
I mean, I'm kind of just thinking to going for the mirror, and I don't think anything will be gained by talking to him.
I would say, Lady Bryn, if that's the case, a meeting with the abbot would let you know exactly where this mirror may be. If you are not considering his options, you could perhaps consider it as a scouting mission of sorts, in your case, if you don't want to hear what he has to say.
All I know is I'm going to die tomorrow. So let's get some shit going.
It's also very true that you may in fact tip your hand if the abbot is the necromancer.
Exactly. That was what I was worried about.
Okay.
And
Well,
technically, we've already tipped our hand to Gertrude if he's happens to be the necromancer. So
I would be concerned of why he knows that he has a mirror. Exactly.
good question.
Very
Good question.
I mean, we can talk to him again before we decide what to do. If you want to ask.
Yeah, we can ask him what his information source is on all this that he's just told us. At least confirm, or at least get some kind of, satisfaction out of it. What do you think, Theoden?
Yeah, I find no harm in asking where he gets his information. However, I do not think that we should press him too hard, for there are too many unknowns currently.
Yeah, it was a little hard to read him, I won't lie. Like, at first, it seemed like this was going to cost us something, and then he was offering information quite freely.
Yes.
I don't know, I will leave it up to the group.
Yeah, I say if you want to speak to him, by all means, before we go somewhere else.
All right, Bryn,
Yeah,
You're
let's
the-
do that.
you're the niece?
Sure. So as you guys are speaking, I think the door is open, and Gertrude returns to the room. And he sees you discussing, so he waits patiently before you invite him into the conversation. And he looks down at the four of you. He's standing as you sit, and he says, "Tell me, have you reached a decision? Will you help me?"
Bryn?
And so I think we have some concerns or questions about some things.
Yes, I'm happy to share whatever information I have.
So whoever wanted to ask questions.
How are we to know the information that you've given us is indeed factual?
As I said, I have no physical evidence. This is what I need your help for. However, I have the testimony of men I trust.
So if we help you do this, do we have your word you will testify in court on our behalf in our favor?
Yes, of course. I wish to save my niece's life, and your own, of course.
Of course.
There are, as I said, larger things at play than merely your lives.
Anything else?
I would like to know how you learned that this mirror may exist.
Okay, so we're gonna roll. This is information that he doesn't want to share because I got to use modern terms. He got this from his CI, right? His confidential informant. So if you'd like to try and persuade him to give you a name, then we can see if he's willing to do so.
Sorry.
Does everybody think this is a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I would like to roll to figure out how this question him, not like harshly or anything, but just to say like how did you learn that this exists?
I would definitely like to help because this information it hinders upon whether the person that I trust the most in my profession is a necromancer or not, and who is accusing him of this.
Yeah,
I'm dying tomorrow. So
that's true.
so
Not
my
dead yet.
I am in for whatever we're doing.
All right, guys.
I don't want to
So,
die.
So Danielle, if you'd like to test your persuasion,
Give me a goddamn name.
we can see. He will give you a name. So you may see your persuasion there
Yeah.
under the being learned column. Yep. So go ahead and
What's
click
that?
the
Dice?
exactly. And just to be clear, who is helping Danielle in this, and how are you helping specifically? What are you saying? Theoden, what are you saying? to help?
Basically, if she's asking how does he know this mirror, and I would add it to the fact that the credibility of the person where you got this information is of great importance to me, because these accusations are against someone that I trust not only more than anyone, but with my own life. So
Yes,
I
they are
believe that,
vital.
yes.
I would like to point out that Theoden kind of sounds like he was born in the darkness, perhaps molded by it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We're done now. Over. It's Burning Wheel. So is that how you're making obscure movie references?
That's how I do.
Awesome. Brent, are you going to try and assist Danielle in getting your uncle to reveal his source to you?
Yeah, I guess I would just be like as my uncle.
Yeah, I feel you would be able
If
to.
you could give me if you could just be honest with where you got this information, then we could continue like potentially getting it. I don't know how to word it.
Yeah, but I got you. You don't have to come with the exact words. I know what you're saying. Cool. So Danielle, you were gonna have we're gonna say a +3 modifier. Everyone's gonna help you with this. And it's going to be 0 Arta, unless you'd like to spend your persona point. Everyone has 1 persona point for the session. And what that does is it lets you add 1d to your dice pool for 1 roll as you're playing. I would suggest you save it for the big.
I would like to.
But
I'm getting that out of the way quick.
and so your obstacle here, Bertrand, willful sort of dude. Your obstacle here is going to be 6.
All right.
Great roll. Unfortunately, a lot of successes to make that happen. So no problem, though. I'm not going to say no to you. I'm just going to make this a lot more complicated. So Gertrude turns and seems to be lost in thought for a moment. He looks at you, Bryn, and you see some of perhaps the emotion that he looked at you with when you were younger and growing up, and hanging out with Uncle Gertrude and down at his necromantic corpse lab. And so Gertrude looks to the ground, and then finally he responds. He says, "I not to give you a name, but tonight at the ball, I will have my contact find you. You may ask him whatever you wish, but do not ask him to remove his mask. He is very valuable to me. And should his identity fall to those who are loyal to the abbot, he would be lost. I will have my servant," and he points across the room to the hunched old man that answered the door. "I will have Leon bring you information as to where and when to meet this, to meet my contact later."
Okay.
Very well.
So, secret meeting set up. Anything else you guys need to get out of Gertrude?
Still doesn't do much for our trust factor, though.
No.
No.
Because now it's just, now we're just meeting with somebody that we don't know who they are. So it might as well just be straight from him again. I'm not a very trustworthy person. Oh, trusting, not trustworthy. Hey, let me change that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very trustworthy.
So after this, if this is completed, I'll start to make my leave out of the dark laboratory.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we need to, are you guys going to discuss visiting the abbot anymore? Is that still on the table? You guys still want to do that?
I'd like to outside away from him.
Yeah, no problem. So is anyone, we'll say that he bids you adieu and that you exit with Aiko in tow. And so it's still an open question. Is there anyone who is opposed to visiting the abbot still?
I wouldn't say I'm opposed to it. I'm hesitant, though.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
I mean, I'm not opposed because I'm not one of the accused, so maybe.
That's a good
Yeah,
way to-
easy for you to say.
Danielle's like, I'll go talk to whoever. I don't care. I'm not going to want to trial.
Guillotine,
I'm trying
sure.
to help everybody, so
Yeah.
I don't think it'll hurt.
And
Okay. Well, if Bryn and Gunther, if you weren't going to try and actively oppose this,
No, I don't actively oppose it. I just
think
want us to
they're gonna drag
be.
it along.
Just want us to be a little subtle.
so basically, as we're walking down the street to I'm guessing the abbot stays in a big church type building. I'm assuming.
Absolutely. So I think the main church type building,
Yeah, the Bane church type building. That one.
maybe even the abbey since he's an abbot.
That one. Yeah.
It's attached to the castle, so it's within the castle grounds, which are as I said, sprawling, high walled. So yeah, absolutely. This is where you and where Danielle have been staying. You know that the abbot's chambers are part of the abbey, so that's where you go.
So I think that as we're walking along the path going towards and I try to speak as abstractly as I can since we're in public and with Aoki, right?
Mhm.
Is
Aiko.
Aiko, sorry, not Aoki.
Steve Aoki.
Yeah, Aiko, Aiko. And I'll just like to say, and just kind of with the group is that just listen to what he has to say and listen to his offer and just take in the scene and see around you and what you can ascertain as to how we could possibly save your lives.
You know what? I
Wink.
think you need to make a test here. As you may have guessed, Aiko's job isn't just to walk around behind you.
Yeah.
It's also to report back to his boss.
Mm-hmm.
So how about you test your inconspicuous and see if that worked out for you?
We'll go ahead and put that one under being learned for me if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And there we go.
See if
All
this spry old man can pull one past old Aiko.
Oh, it's Aoki now. I'm going to change.
It's Steve Aoki now.
Say okay, you whatever you want him to be.
Just waiting for the drop.
Yeah. I would like to see if to add a modifier to this to use my either whatever you think is more plausible here, either oratory or doctrine, in that I'm speaking in the ways of the church and how it can help them and how it could possibly make them see the light in their ways.
So, unfortunately, since you are rolling the skill untrained, you're technically
Right.
rolling your stat.
Gotcha.
We'll come back to forking later once you guys actually roll a skill you have. But basically, you can use other skills to help you use the main skill that you're rolling better.
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain that in more detail later.
All right.
But so no, no, you can't.
Yeah, I forgot. What's my obstacle here?
Your obstacle. I'm gonna make the versus test versus his observation.
Okay.
So let me roll real quick. Find out. Here we go. Ob 3, my friend.
This may not be too good. There we go.
Oh no, you tied him. That's good.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder why it does the 6.
It's because he was rolling untrained as well, so you guys were rolling 1-to-1 against each other, but
Gotcha.
the sheet automatically doubles it. Yeah. So I'll remind you to put in 1.5 instead of 3 or whatever half is next time.
Gotcha.
And all right, so no problem. You whisper to your companions, and Aiko does his best to try and hear what you're saying and eavesdrop on your plans, but he is just not able to get that information.
Get through the long, droning religious speech of the old man who's still excited about being a priest.
Yeah, exactly. He hates your voice so much, he just kind of zoned out. So I think we're about an hour. Let's, you want to take 5 and then come back to your conversation with the abbot?
Sure. All right.
Sure.
Guys, we'll be back here for the second hour of Hit It and Crit It with our journey to speak with the abbot to see how he can save their lives and possibly their souls. So we'll be back in just a few minutes, and don't go anywhere. See you guys in a few.